What's up, everybody? My name is John, founder of a company called Planet Homes, and I'm super excited today to show you how we normally set up our warm bin. And if you're a DIY guy or you bought a warm bin from us and you're wondering, okay, what next? I'm going to be showing you how to set it up, how to feed the worms, how to put in the worms into the warm bin, and everything, and how you're going to be taking care of it from now. Okay. But before we do that, let me tell you, for those who are new and don't know why you need a warm bin, let me tell you why you should actually get a warm bin. Um, According to the UN, between 50 and to 70% of all the waste that we produce in our households and ends up in the municipal garbage trucks, and which ends up in a landfill somewhere, is biodegradable waste. And this waste is waste that can be recycled very easily. And earthworms are one of the things that can recycle this waste. Also, this waste, once it ends up in our landfills, it destroys our soil, the ecosystems around it, the lakes, the rivers, the oceans, and also it produces methane, which is far worse than carbon, and also a far worse leader of climate change than and even carbon itself. So we, by throwing away stuff into the garbage and hoping that somebody somewhere recycles it, we are ending up causing climate change, and we can reverse our impact on climate change very easily using atoms. So I'm going to show you that, and I'm going to show you what is biodegradable waste and how we can recycle it very easily with atoms. So let's get into it. If you get a warm bin from us, you'll normally get the 60-liter drum is very, very good. If you're a family, if you're a household, if you're a family of four, one of this is good enough, but two is excellent. If you get two of this and 2 kilos of worms, you can recycle all your biodegradable waste for the whole year easily without having to throw it away. So this is what you normally get. You'll get one drum that has a tap, and also you'll get another drum that has holes at the bottom, like that. I'm using an older bucket for DIY people to see that you don't necessarily need to buy worm bins. You can just buy the worms and use any material that you have in your home and turn it into a worm bin. So all you need to do is set it up. First of all, you need to make sure you have an exit for where you're going to be collecting all your worm tea. And all you need to do is set up the tap. If you buy it from us, we'll give you even the tap. It will be in there. All you need to do is just tie it up on the lower part, and then find somewhere to place your worm in. Then put the one that has many holes on the lower part. Fix it inside like that, and then you have a lid that you're going to be closing. Another advantage of our worm bins is that you can store them anywhere. It doesn't matter whether you don't have the space, you don't have a garden. Doesn't really matter. You can store them in your balcony or your kitchen, your bathroom, anywhere in the house. It doesn't really matter. You don't need space, you don't need a garden, and also you can store them outside if you don't want to store it in your home. If you have the space, that's good enough. You can put it wherever you want, because this is a key, because you're using living things, atoms, as they eat up all your waste, it doesn't smell. It has a very nice earthy, foresty kind of smell. So this bin will not stink into your home. So don't be worried. You can store it in your kitchen. I have clients who are storing their worm bins in their kitchen, and it's working perfectly. So what do you need? You will get your worm bins. You have 1 kilo of worms. So once you buy it from us, you're going to get 1 kg of worms. I'm going to be showing you how many. They are super many. 1 kg of worms is a lot of worms. And then you're going to get the worm bin itself. And also you're going to get a vermicomposting secret guide that will show you exactly what is vermicomposting and how to vermicompost all your waste. So let's set up let's start setting up your worm bin. One of the things that you'll need is, since this is, and I'm going to talk about household, this is only focused on biodegradable waste produced by households. If you're a farm, if you're a school, you're an institution, you're a business, I'm not talking about that other waste. I'm just talking about household waste. So, as a household, I know you will not have manure in your home unless you're keeping animals in your house. I don't know. Maybe you are, maybe you're not, but most households will not have manure and such and the rest of the other biodegradable waste. So one of the few things I know you will have is newspaper or cardboard, corrugated cardboard. It is cardboard, corrugated cardboard, as we call it in the West. In Africa, we call it carton. So all you need is carton or newspapers, and all you need to do is put some water in a bucket like this, up to halfway, doesn't really matter, and then tear up the newspaper into small pieces, and then soak them, just like I'm doing. Soak them in the water, and between 10 minutes is good enough. And then once you soak them up, we're going to use these newspapers as our bedding material. This is where the worms will sleep at night, and so it's very important. But also, what the other function of that newspaper, as you saw, there are holes here, and you don't want your worms to fall through. So all you're going to do is pick up all these newspapers and then squeeze out the excess water. You don't need a lot. Anything that you're going to be feeding your worms, you just want enough water that when you squeeze out the water, you only have a few drops, just a few drops from whatever matter that you feed to your worms. If you put too much, it becomes overloaded and the whole system stops working properly. If you follow the simple guidelines that I'm showing you, you're going to have an excellent time developing composting. So if they are still big enough, you can chop them up a little bit and put them inside. We'll continue. I took some newspapers earlier just for this video. So that's all you need to do. Place them in the lower parts. We're going to take a close up of this later. So I will include it in the video, don't worry. Squeeze out the excess and arrange them in the worm bin. Just a few more, and this is how to cheer them. And if you have many worm bins, you can include all your children to do it. It's a fun activity for the children. And then soak them inside for a minute or two. This is good enough. Squeeze the fresh water out, and then arrange. Make sure that you have them covering the buckets on the lower side, like that. Like that. So from here, I'm going to bring in my worms, and then I'll show you it's a turn. From here, you're going to put in the worms, and then we're going to feed the worms. So this is a kg of worms that you're going to get from us. As you can see, 1 kilo of worms is a lot of worms. If if you don't get this type of worms, if you buy it from somebody else and you get just a few worms, just know they give you a lot of the worm castings. We don't put worm castings. We measure the worms first, and then we normally add another kg. As when we are measuring, we normally measure 1 kg of worms like this, and then we add another kg of worm castings because they need somewhere to live in so that they don't die during transport. So, but there will be 1 kg of just pure worms. So we make sure that we give our clients the value for their money. So we take your money very seriously. So we're going to give you, if we say it's 1 kilo, it's 1 kg of pure worms, just like this. So come closer, I'll show you. So all you need to do is just spread your worms inside the worm bin, like that. Make sure they're everywhere. Like that. And like that. You can see it's a lot of worms. So from here, what we're going to take is part of the kitchen waste and feed our worms. As we talked earlier, biodegradable waste is one of the few wastes that we produce in our kitchens. It takes many forms. So we have what are they called? Serviettes in your home. If you use a lot of serviettes, this is waste that is going to be broken down easily. We have papers that cover the tea bags. We have the tea bags themselves. We have vegetable leftovers. This is cabbage. We have banana peelings. Any fruit or vegetable peelings are good enough. We have potato peels, any leftover. And also, if you have food that you cooked without using oil, butter, or dairy, or that doesn't have meat and doesn't have salt or vinegar, that is good enough. Those are the only things that you need to avoid. Also, you need to avoid citric fruits. Your what are they called? Tangerines, your lemons, limes, oranges. You can feed, but not in large quantities because they're too acidic, and sometimes worms don't like them too much, so they might either die or avoid them completely. So if you have such a small setup, a worm bin, you can avoid all those things, but if you have a large setup, it doesn't really matter because the worms will feed on it later. But when you have a small system, a small worm bin, you need to avoid any citric fruits and anything that has oil or any meat. Don't put any meat in there. So these are some of the things that I collected today from our kitchen, and all we're going to do, like these things that like the serviettes, we're going to make sure that we put them inside the water just a little bit, put them in a little bit, and then feed. Just like that. And most of these salads, if you have peels and fruits, cores and vegetable leftovers, you can chop them down a little bit with a panga or a knife. Whatever it is that you have in your home lying around, just chop them around. Because remember, worms only eat about decaying matter. So if it's not decaying, they will not eat it. And chopping it down to smaller pieces makes it possible for it to decay very quickly, so that the worms will consume it very, very quickly. You want your worms to multiply and survive very well, you need to chop it down. It's not necessarily necessary, but it is good. It's a very good habit to practice if you want a nice ecosystem that will break down all your matter all the kitchen waste that you produce very, very quickly. So all you need to do is chop it down like this. And there you have it. We're going to take some of that in there and put it warm like that. And that's it. That's how easy it is to set up. From here on, we're going to be taking everything that is in our kitchen every single day. We're going to be chopping it up into small bits, and then we're going to be feeding this each and every single day. And then the next thing that we're going to do is take full newspapers. Let me show you. We're going to take a few full newspapers like this. You're not going to cut them down. We're just going to soak them into the water. Rinse them off a little bit. And then we're going to cover the top of the warm bin. Come close. We're going to cover the top of the warm bin. And there's a reason for this. We're covering because we don't want fruit flies. You're covering like this each and every single day you feed. You have to cover. You have to make sure that the bin itself is covered properly, so that you will not produce any fruit flies. And I know most people, once you see fruit flies, you'll not like the scene of fruit flies in your kitchen. So it's good to cover. And that's it. That's how to feed your worms. And so we'll leave it like this. We'll leave it like this. Tomorrow we'll come feed again, and then we're going to be taking small videos to show you the progress of how it happens. But if you want to follow the every single day of what we're doing to the worm bin, you can follow us on Facebook at Planet Worms, and we're going to be documenting that whole process upon how we're going to be feeding this worm bin each and every single day, and seeing the progress and seeing what is happening and how to remedy and anything, and being part of the journey and seeing how we do vermicomposting. So that's it for me. Bye bye. See you in the next video.